Well, hello again, everyone. I hope you're all having a very good holiday season as things are going along, and definitely need to do an update here because it's been quite a while since I did this sort of thing and got you guys up to speed about various things on the channel here. Obviously, in November, I did not produce a Forever Cinematic review, and I do apologize for that. It wasn't for lack of intention to want to do one, but I was getting very caught up in trying to get my film, The Fixer, dealt with. All these various post-production things I've had to deal with. There's a lot of stuff I've had to enhance with audio in the film and whatnot, where there's certain shoots where we didn't really have the proper microphones or various other things, where I've had to do a lot of filtering to get a lot of, like, maybe sort of background noise worked out. Or kind of the big thing I'm working through now is that I have to use some old ADR recordings that I made way back in like 2000, end of 2007. Obviously, this has been going on for a long time, but originally didn't use it because I didn't feel like it really kind of, I could make it sound very natural in the scene and everything like that with the ambiance, the acoustics, stuff like that. There's always, if you ever heard bad ADR, stuff that just doesn't seem like it functions or whatnot, you kind of know where am I coming from. But with more updated technology and more information at my disposal, I've begun to filter some stuff out and get things a little bit closer here and there, but I'm still working to get it perfect. I've downloaded Adobe Audition for a free trial, which is probably down to about 20 days left, so hopefully I could just chug right into that this weekend and just get that taken care of, period, because the original production audio, it was a day where we were shooting with our new DP, Alec Isaac, at the time, and he had brought a boom mic. It worked before he came there, but when he got there, for some reason, it just wasn't functioning, so we had to shoot a whole bunch of stuff that day with a lot of casts in it, whatnot, and in this one scene where it just adversely affected things because we had the camera so far back, we're using the mic on the camera, and this big, just big open room and whatnot, so it just didn't work. I can't filter it, I can't make it sound good, I've got to use the ADR, so that's a very difficult type of thing to deal with, and just going through it and updating things, just again, it's a lot of sweetening of the audio and the whole thing. Now that I know that I can do certain things, I'm just trying to make things as sort of like across the board as much on the level of quality as I can with compression and various other things, if you know anything about that. If you don't, it's not your problem. My problem. I have to deal with these things. I have to get this thing done because it's been 12 freaking years. So obviously with Tim and AJ getting that thing done a couple months ago, we're all good with that. So I'm just boring through this because it's a big type of thing where it's just like I've kind of been in such a holding pattern for so goddamn long that I've never had this, like, okay, now it's down to crunch time, that anything that's not up to snuff with the film in terms of any kind of technical quality, I absolutely have to resolve it now, because there's just no like just waiting around for someone else to catch up and get into getting done what they're involved with doing, everything with the music stuff. Now it's just me, everything's in place, I just have to get all the stuff up to standards to get it to a release version that I can stand behind and say that's the best that I can give you of the product that I have here. So it's a lot of pressure, and it's a lot of time that I really haven't had as much of, but I'm going to be working this weekend completely on getting that just as much done as possible. I've pretty much gotten like 98% of all the pickup stuff I have to get in terms of different transition shots or just cleaning up some stuff. There's some shots that we did way back when that didn't look all that good, or some establishing shots that really need a little bit better quality to them. So I've gone around and done some of that stuff for the last several weeks, couple months or whatnot, to get things up to quality. And so that's all being dealt with. So that's all stuff that's happening with that film. Everyone keeps asking me if it's going to be ready for Christmas. At this point, it seems unlikely. I'm really trying to get it done by the end of the year to get an actual release version, whatever it is, a digital disc, whatever it is, by the end of the year. It's a lot of crunch stuff, so it's very difficult to get it when I've got just difficult things going on with a schedule that's not as reliably the same as it always is week in and week out lately. So it's very difficult. It's been a tough week, but I'm going to get you up with some Blu-ray stuff. There's going to be, we just, because I decided to just put out the Desperado review and a Child's Play 2 commentary at the same time, because it felt like you've been a little bit sore on the content. Let's put everything out at the same time on the same day. So I got the Desperado thing taken care of, and it was easy to get the Child's Play 2 thing up and going. And so I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Did have a little bit of a snag with the Desperado thing. Sony put a copyright claim on it, but they released it today, so everything's just fine. It's back up there, no problem. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you haven't, go off and check it out and everything. And I am planning to do a Beverly Hills Cop 2 review. I know I probably should have done it well ahead of time by now, but I am planning to do it. I was going to do it back in November, but I had a bit of a problem. I had very extremely noisy neighbors that night. I guess they had guests over or whatnot. They had kids. Sounded like they had kids running up and down the stairs and make all kinds of noise because we're in a townhouse. We share a wall with the neighbors and whatnot. Usually there's not much noise, but that night it was just, I couldn't have recorded anything if I wanted to because it just would have come up on the mic hearing that much noise and kids squealing and all that. What the heck was going on? It wasn't a good atmosphere for me to do anything. So that is on the cards. I'm really just game to do that right now. I keep hearing songs and stuff like that, the Shakedown from Bob Seger, and just keep kicking around in my head. So that'll be coming. Hopefully it'll get done as soon as I possibly can. I just want to get things as much done as possible, so I just got to charge forward and get shit done. It's a commentary for Black Christmas between Steve and myself, which is going to be coming out probably in roughly about the next week. It is a really raucous time in some places because we'll get to it. We'll just have to experience it. There's going to be just some wild shit in this commentary, guys. It's just really off the wall, but it was an interesting journey with it. So you guys are really going to enjoy it. If you enjoyed that Bob Clark classic from '74, you're going to really like the commentary we put together for it. It's everything you'd possibly want from what Steve and I provide for that. We had a little bit of a hitch in getting things going with the Die Hard 2 commentary because Trent had some family emergencies come up and things got a little bit more. He has to take care of that. And this, I told him, Steve and I were in agreement. We were not going to do the commentary if Trent was not there. We're totally on that. We don't want to do it unless we got the whole team there because once we do it, we can't go back and redo it. So it's like, let's do it with the three of us. Even if it's not going to hit Christmas, let's make sure we at least do it with the three of us because that's going to be the most satisfying type of thing. Because it just, if we did just record Steve and I, we would just be sitting there the whole time just like wishing Trent was there anyway. So just know that we wanted to get it done, but obviously family comes first. You got to deal with that and let that flow through and just settle in. I don't want him being here and being kind of worried about things or distracted or whatnot. Let's make the most fun time we can. So if it doesn't come up by Christmas, we will be doing it and we'll be getting it out of the way. It'll just be a little later than we intended to, but regardless of that, in the long run, it'll be there in the archives. You'll be able to watch it and enjoy it and listen to it and just have fun with it. So there's that, and nothing else is concrete at this time what's coming up later on, but like I said with the commentaries, we've got Scream, we've got Final Destination stuff, which I'll get into with my Blu-ray pickups, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre stuff is all going to be like the first half of 2019 with our commentary stuff, so do not worry, there's plenty of stuff coming up. And we'll see what else comes up in that regard, but once we get past the holiday season, I get the FIXER stuff out of the way, things will flow much more of a natural, regular type of fashion, but I'm trying to slip things in where I can in due time, so hopefully I'll get another review out before Christmas happens. Doubt it's going to be anything Christmas related, probably would be Beverly Hills Cop 2, but just so I have stuff coming out and you guys can enjoy it and things don't kind of fall off too far here. But let's get into Blu-ray stuff and some CDs as well, some music stuff I want to talk to you about because something really special I experienced earlier this week, so I want to get to that at the tail end of things. So movie stuff, obviously had to pick up a Mission Impossible Fallout last night. I watched this with the Chris McQuarrie, Tom Cruise commentary, which was absolutely fantastic to listen to. These two guys, one, they're the best of friends. They're just such enthusiastic collaborators between the two of them, and everything they talked about just made me appreciate so much more about the film. Because when you're watching the film, you're so caught up in like the fictional narrative, you don't realize the filmmaking reality behind it, how much of what Tom Cruise is actually performing in actual scenarios on this film. The Halo jump was Tom Cruise doing a Halo jump in reality. None of it was blue screen, none of it was wires and whatnot. They actually jumped out of the freaking plane with the cameraman in this IMAX lens and everything, and just capturing this entire sequence, actuality, real time, all this type of stuff. Brilliant. And even the motorcycle chase, that's Tom Cruise on the motorcycle doing the damn stunts, all this stuff. He learned how to fly a helicopter for the damn movie. This commentary was phenomenal. I loved every second of it. I just was engrossed. I just couldn't turn away from it. I was going to turn on for just background noise, but I was just like so fucking engrossed in everything they were saying. Everything they're talking about, cinematography, all the stunt stuff, how almost a little they talked about visual effects, and the whole thing was a phenomenal thing. But if you haven't already, just listen to that commentary. It is phenomenally interesting. There's still 2 more commentaries on this thing to enjoy, and it got a little collectible booklet in here about the stunt work on the film itself. So that's a good thing to actually delve into and enjoy there. So it's like, I haven't even looked at any of the other special features on this thing, but I'm sure that's wonderfully fantastic type of stuff. So phenomenal film. I didn't do a review of it, but I absolutely fucking loved it. And before I saw this, I rewatched Rogue Nation again, and my opinion of that rose completely over the top from what I had when I originally saw it, because I was just much more interested in the story, in the characters, all this different stuff. McQuarrie is fantastic with this franchise. They're fantastic in pretty much most of anything he does. So him and Tom Cruise are some kind of magic going on in cinema right now, and they're even collaborating on the Top Gun sequel as well. So phenomenal stuff. Definitely check it out. I absolutely loved it. Recently picked this up. This is Al Pacino, Sea of Love, and this is I only saw this once. I didn't have much. I don't have much of a recollection of my opinion of it, but it's kind of a little bit of a steamy eroticism thriller sort of type of thing with him. Him and Ellen Barkin. John Goodman's in this as well. It's got featured commentary from the director, some featurettes, deleted scenes, the theatrical trailer and everything. And this has some good stuff from what I do vaguely remember. But I was like, I had a inkling to want to check this out, and this was kind of a pivotal film for Pacino, because kind of in the mid '80s, whatnot, after like have done like Scarface, he kind of just had kind of a slump, whatnot. He kind of wasn't doing the best types of films and whatnot. And does not stuff to get very critically or commercially successful type of stuff. But this kind of got him a little bit more up on the step towards a little bit more the stuff he started doing in the '90s, Scent of a Woman, various other things like that. So this was a nice step forward for him, and Siskel and Ebert, for much as you want to give him credit, gave it 2 thumbs up. So yeah, I wanted to check it out, and this was kind of a nice price over at Half Price Books, so I grabbed that. This took a little while. I upgraded my Subspecies DVDs, the remastered ones, to the Blu-Rays, and because Full Moon was having a sale at the end of October. It shows how long it's been since I've done one of these damn things. But this took 3 weeks to get here, which hasn't changed much, because back in 2006, they had just gotten the Australian Subspecies Collection DVD set, which they were selling on their site for like $80, and I did order it at that time, and it still took them 3 weeks to get it. Partially, I think, is because someone probably forgot to process the damn order, because I do remember the email conversation a little bit, but regards to that, it hasn't changed much. They're still taking forever to process this stuff, but did get it, and got the first 3 films on Blu-ray. They haven't remastered the 4th film, and I don't have. It's been an extremely long time since I saw the 4th film, but I don't remember having a very good opinion of it. I feel a little bit more cheesy, end of things, and all that type of stuff, and whatever. That's why I haven't done a review of the 4th film, because they never did a remastered edition on it. And I do have it in that set with Vampire Journals, which did get a remaster, but I've never watched it, even though I've had the DVD obviously for 12 years. So regards to that, so just one of those things, whatever. But talking about commentaries and Final Destination, because I ended up buying the entire freaking franchise on Blu-ray. Because I bought the first one the day we did the commentary for it. They didn't have over at FYE or Half Price. They didn't have a Blu-ray of the second one, so we recorded the commentary off of the DVD. But I love the second one too, so I figured why not get the entire collection there. Obviously, we're going to be doing 3, 4, and 5 after the new year, and we know the fourth film is a disaster piece and a half. But we're gonna have to do it, you know, because we're gluttons for punishment. The worse the film, the better the commentary tends to be. But man, is that gonna be bad? It's gonna be bad. But we'll figure out our schedules of exactly how we'll bundle these things up. Because I don't know, we'll do like 3 then 4 at the same time. Because it'd be kind of bad to kind of like leave off 4 is the last one. I always like to start off with 4 and then move on, like do 5 after that. Because we usually record back-to-back commentaries on the same day or whatnot. So it might be better to kind of like do something else than 3. And then we can do 4 and 5 together, so we can kind of leave things on an up note on that day or whatnot. Kind of a palate cleanser with a better film after the shit show. But we'll see how things work out with our schedules and where we want to go with everything. So that's all I got for Blu-rays at this time. But like I said, I did want to go off and talk a little CD pickups I've had. Because on the day I picked up the Final Destination Blu-ray and everything, I did pick up the remastered edition of Metallica's And Justice for All, the deluxe edition set, where it has a few extra discs on this thing. One with kind of like rough mixes and demos, and then some live tracks here and there. And obviously, this is one of those things where anyone who knows this album, Metallica stuff or whatnot, it was very notorious at the time, where Jason Newsted had just come in the band after Cliff Burton had died in a bus accident on tour overseas, and there was I mean, they liked him and whatnot, but there was always this like constant hazing of him and everything, and there was probably a lot of grief, a lot of mourning stuff they were kind of grappling with, and ultimately they kind of fucked him over in the mix of the album and everything. So they kind of pretty much eliminated the entire bass track from the thing. They just kept turning it down, despite like the engineer or the mixer or whatnot kind of wanting to do the opposite of that, turn it up because it sounded really good to him. But obviously that's been a big thing about this album, and it's been coming out the last couple of years about the story behind everything, how the thing was kind of like chopped up into so many different pieces to create the overall tracks and everything, that it seems very unlikely that these things would still be intact to be able to go off and take the original tracks and remix the whole thing and all that type of stuff. And so this is just a straight remastering, a little bit of equalizing type of stuff. There's no added bass to the mix, really. It probably just sounds maybe a little crisper in places, but it was already a pretty crisp mix to begin with. So, but I was like, okay, well, I got like the kind of bare bones versions of the first 3 albums. I figured this was there on the day. I had a 20% off thing in FYE to use, so I figured, why the fuck not? It just came out. Let me just grab it. So for like $15, $16, it's not a bad thing. And it has the rough mixes were kind of nice. I mean, you can tell they don't have the sheen of a studio mastering job on top of them, but you can kind of hear some neat little things in there. Some maybe slightly changed lyrics or slightly changed parts that are just kind of like in the early stages of working out the entire songs and everything. So it's kind of interesting to listen to and stuff like that. And obviously maybe some different lyrics here and there, so it's kind of cool. The live tracks, I haven't listened to all of them, but a couple of them I listened to were like a little bit wanting here and there. Obviously the one track they took off of the live shit Seattle performance or whatnot sounds fantastic, always has. But other stuff just sounded a little bit kind of, then like, again, probably just had just like a straight soundboard recording, not various tracks. They could go off and just remix it or whatnot. So some of the stuff just has the faults of like a mix on the fly type of thing. So it's like some places the guitars are muffled or the vocals aren't at the right levels or whatnot. So left me a little wanting for higher quality stuff here and there. But I'm fine with it. You know, for what I paid for it, it's kind of cool, and I'll definitely probably on occasion go back to the mixes, the demo stuff, all that type of thing to kind of enjoy it. And it certainly got me listening to the album proper again here and there. So it's just one of those things that kind of recharge you a little bit, get you a little bit more excited for it, and just put it back into your kind of rotation of what you listen to. And I was listening to some more Billy Idol stuff lately, and I figured I need more Billy Idol in my life, because I have got the his Greatest Hits CD, and then I've got like Charmed Life, which I haven't listened to many tracks off of that, just the kind of the main singles. But I figure I want to get more Billy Idol. I want to get the Whiplash Smile album, because I really like the general tracks on this thing. Don't Need a Gun, Sweet 16, a couple other things on here are really good stuff. I like the vibe of the songs I've heard off of this. It really kind of feels like this was kind of like his next step forward in an evolution of his artistry and stuff like that. So it's like, I really love Billy Idol stuff. And Vital Idol, which has some like remixed versions of his tracks and whatnot. So a couple of them are really good. Hot in the City, Exterminator mix. A couple other ones are really nice. So I've been listening to that stuff, and like really cool stuff. And I got these used and whatnot, but they're kind of cool to get and just add them more into the mix, because I really just wanted to get some more Billy Idol stuff, you know? I mean, the sneer, the glove, all that type of stuff. Like, Billy's just cool, man. He's cool. At the end of the day, man, he's a family man. He's kind of laid back a little bit more, but he's such a cool guy and whatnot. It's like, I was watching his behind the music, and it's like, yeah, he was into all the bad shit everyone else was in the 80s, all the girls and the drugs and all this type of stuff going off the deep end. And he had that one, the motorcycle accident, which kind of knocked him out of commission for a little while. He was supposed to have like a bigger role in like Oliver Stone's The Doors, and he got kind of relegated to a cameo because he could barely stand at the time. He was originally supposed to be in The Adventures of Ford Fairlane, but because he got the accident and whatnot, Rennie Harlan called up Robert Englund to take the role that he was supposed to play in the film. So that's why Robert Englund looks like Billy Idol in the film, in this leather getup and everything, and this English accent. He's basically being Billy Idol in the film because Billy Idol couldn't be in the film. So this is kind of interesting thing, but his song Cradle of Love got to be attached to the film, so that was nice. And kind of interesting that David Fincher directed the music video for Cradle of Love, which features footage from a Rennie Harlan film. So how many times are you going to say that in life? So that's cool, and cool stuff. Billy Idol stuff is really cool and everything. And getting off on a slightly different music track here that since I'm wrapping up the video, I'll put it here at the end of all that type of stuff. But I went to a nice little show on Monday night, which was absolutely fantastic, because got introduced to this band called HAERTS, kind of a German duo that's backed up by some also really solid musicians as well. But I got introduced to their stuff, and it's very sort of ethereal pop music type of stuff. It's just like really has a little bit of a Fleetwood Mac, Stevie Nicks type of vibe to it in a certain way. It just has that sense of magic to it in a certain way, this aura that their music kind of evokes and everything, a very strong sense of love and compassion. And their new album is called New Compassion, and I've been listening to this just over and over again for like the last 2 months or whatnot. I just absolutely been just thoroughly enthralled with the music they put out and everything. Just like, it was just so uplifting, such a mood changing type of thing, that I just got dedicated to seeing them live. And they came to Schubas Tavern in Chicago on Monday, December 10th, and I got my ticket and all that type of stuff ahead of time, and just I was just absolutely enthralled. I was just so absolutely fantastically I just had the experience of my life. Just one of the most amazing shows I've ever been to. They were supported by a guy called Vlad Holiday, who was also really awesome, because I mean he usually has a backup band, but on this thing he was kind of doing it all solo with a kind of a sampler board or whatnot for his backing stuff. But this guy was really fantastic too. It was kind of this sort of almost like an indie alternative rock type of thing going on. Just like, it just had such a great sound to him and everything. Just like he could really fucking shred the shit out of the guitar. The one clip I grabbed that I shot for the whole thing, shortly after I stopped recording, he just tore out this fantastic, wicked solo. This guy was great. He was absolutely fantastic. I liked him so much. And you can follow all these people on social media, pick up their stuff on Spotify or iTunes, whatever it is you want to do. But he was fantastic to listen to. Just like, I was really engaged with it. I sampled some of his stuff ahead of time. He dropped like a music video about a week ahead of time, so I engaged with that and got a little sample of what he was doing, and I really loved what he was doing. I applauded very genuinely for everything he did up there. I was like very engaged with what he was doing as a performer and everything. Just like being up there alone with just his guitar and all this type of stuff. He knocked it dead to me. I absolutely fantastically loved it. And when HAERTS took the stage, they just had a fantastic aura about them. Just like everything they did, it was so beautiful, just so heartfelt. I mean, just from the name itself, they exude that type of feeling from themselves and everything. And It is so great. I mean, I've been following them on social media, mostly on Instagram and everything, and I commented on one of their posts that day that said it was going to be a long journey into the city, but I thoroughly believed that it was going to be well worth it. And after the show, front lady Nini Fabi, she apparently recognized me from my posts and everything, and she thanked me for coming out and said I hope it wasn't too long of a drive. And I said the show was absolutely wonderful and just like it was great, and because it was such an intimate venue and such an amazing performance, it just became such a something that just echoed in my mind all week long, and it's just fantastic. If you ever have a chance to see them, I think it's a fantastic experience to do so. They're just doing a phenomenal job. Just the recorded stuff, but on stage, it's so true to the recordings as well. So they can reproduce their sound so strongly, so lushly, live and everything, and just put forth such great stuff. I absolutely loved it. And the other half of the duo, Ben Giebert, he does backing vocals and keyboards and guitars, so he switched between different stuff, even in a single song and everything. So it's like I was right next to him the whole time watching him and everything, so it's like he was doing a phenomenal job. Everyone in the band does excellent work. Performing with this entire cache of songs that they have is absolutely phenomenal. You might have heard some of their stuff on apparently it's on the soundtrack for 13 Reasons Why Season 2. So if you watch that Netflix show, you might have heard some of their songs. It's a film called Love, Simon. I think some of their stuff showed up there. So they've been populating for quite a while now. They've been making music for about 7-8 years or whatnot, and they put out a full-length album 2014, and obviously the new one now, and some other EPs here and there. But I've absolutely loved everything I've been hearing from them, and it was just a phenomenal experience. Just seeing them live and everything, so it's just been the highlight of my entire week. And it's been a tough week. It's been a hard week for me for a lot of different things. I just have a lot of stuff that's really just burned me a lot, and some other stuff that's been going on has been easy to deal with. So having a little bit of something there to latch onto, knew I had that at the beginning of my week to really kind of fortify everything for myself. The thing to hold on to, something to latch onto that really just altered everything. I was so just absolutely glowing after the whole thing. I couldn't have had a better time. I absolutely loved it. So enough of that type of stuff. So between that and I had Judas Priest a couple months ago, was obviously an amazing show as well. So it's like just one of those things, just whatever it is, you go to the right shows and you just have the experience of your lifetime, and no matter who it is that's playing, and they just put on a phenomenal show, it can change everything for you. So I want to get that out because I felt so strongly about their performance, and also Vlad stuff as well. So I'll definitely check out more of his recorded stuff on Spotify and probably buy some stuff here and there. So just going to delve into that a little bit as I work on all the stuff for the Fixer this weekend. So I always need some little background stuff to kind of ease the tension and the stress of the mind dealing with all this stuff when I'm editing. So going to move on with that. And sadly, Hemi had kind of a short notice show about a couple weeks ago or whatnot, and unfortunately it was so short notice I couldn't rearrange my schedule in any type of way. I was already locked in for my work schedule to not be able to attend it, but apparently just knocked it dead at the Live Wire, debuting their songs from Avalon. I'm sure they just killed the shit out of it, but sadly because I wasn't there, we couldn't get any video for it, but got some great photos and whatnot. And if you want to check out any of the photos I took of this show I was at on Monday, go hit up my Instagram. I've got that stuff there, so you can check that out anytime possible. I'm always trying to post some stuff, whether it's like stills from the films or some behind the scenes photographs, or some new media picks. New media stuff I'm picking up, Blu-Rays, whatever it is. So I'm always trying to get something out there every couple of days to keep it going and whatnot, keep some content flowing here and there on different platforms. So awesome stuff. So guys, like I said, we'll be doing trying to get things up on their feet in the next week or so with the Die Hard 2 stuff. Black Christmas thing will be out in a matter of days, I'm sure. But I want to give the Child's Play 2 thing a little bit of breathing room. Don't want to get things too congested and then have too much space the next thing. So try to figure things out as best I can. But on the commentary stuff I've been trying to do, you might notice that the Child's Play 2 thing went up and it was not exactly right. because I've been doing a lot more filtering since I've been learning more stuff for the fact of sprucing up the audio on the FIXER. I've been trying to apply that now to the commentaries. They kind of dull out some of the background noise. It's kind of like the kind of fuzz, the kind of hum in the background you might hear. So I've been trying to do that, and plus a little bit of compression on the whole thing. So doing that directly in Final Cut Pro with the AIF file kind of fucked things up. So I've got to make sure to double check that when I'm doing that and trying to figure that stuff out. So apologize for that type of thing, but it's all up corrected now, and you don't have to worry about it. So I'll be double checking that stuff in the future to make sure that doesn't happen again. So I apologize, but that'll be just trying to make the best audio experience for you guys possible. So hopefully that's showing through, and thanks so much, guys, for everything. We're almost up to about 3,700 subscribers around here. So it's like, it doesn't always show it in like the amount of views, but the fact that people keep clicking the subscribe button means I'm doing something around here that someone wants to see. So that's all I got for you this point in time. So I'll be checking in with you guys probably, hopefully before the end of the year. If not, hopefully you have a great holiday season, whatever that you celebrate. I hope it goes down well for you, and hope you have a happy new year if I don't see you again till then, but I'm sure we'll say something in a commentary or whatever. So guys, thanks so much, and Desperado review and Child's Play 2 stuff and various other things. There's always tons of stuff in the backlog to the back catalog for you guys to experience if you haven't seen it already. I'm gonna get out of here. It's been longer than normal. Thanks so much, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.